We are in Orlando for American Farm Bureau annual meeting. Joined with me today for the Rural Radio Network, I'm Jesse Harding. Joined with me today is Nebraska President, Farm Bureau, Steve Nelson. Steve, we're here. We have Nebraska members here in Orlando. Let's kind of talk about how many members are here in Orlando who have made the trip from the cold into the southern part of the state, and what some of these members are going to be doing.
Sure. Well, we have around 100 Nebraskans here, and the first day or two that people come, there are some activities related to the AFBF annual meeting, and there's also some ample free time to see some of the sites that are here. And so we have members doing all kinds of different things today, and then starting Sunday morning is really when the heart of the convention begins. We have a large breakfast related to the AFBF Foundation. We have our Vespers service, and then we move into the opening general session, and so that's when the convention will really get underway.
We have several producers that are here that are going to be competing. Can we run through what maybe some of those competitions are?
Right. Well, there's 3 contests. There's one that has to do with public speaking. John Timmy from Nebraska is representing Nebraska here, and that's the discussion meet contest. Then we have Achievement Award winner families, and the Vilwalk family from the Wayne area is part of that, as well as the Fairleys from South Central Nebraska. And so we have some great people involved in those contests representing our state, and wish them the greatest success in these contests.
Part of coming together for annual meeting, we're going to be voting on new policies for the association. What are some ones that you're anticipating coming up this year?
Sure, there'll be a number of policies that are discussed. I think it's always important for people to understand that our policy is put together to last for the long run. And so even though there'll be major issues out there, our members may feel like our policy is good policy, and so it doesn't need to change. So just because we don't have a lot of discussion doesn't mean we don't have policies on lots of important issues. Now this year I think there'll be some discussion related to country of origin labeling and to do with the changes that have happened relating to compliance with WTO. So there'll be a discussion around that. There'll be some discussion related to regulatory issues. We have good policy to address the WOTUS issue, but probably some discussion around how we deal with that. Just a number of issues in the regulatory area I think will come up, and so we'll have a good discussion on those. And obviously any issue can come before the body during that time, and so we don't always know even a day or so before what the key issues that are discussed will be. But probably the biggest thing this year will be the election of a new American Farm Bureau president.
We've had President Stallman in for 16 years for American Farm Bureau. After doing the elections, we'll have a new Farm Bureau president. We are electing from either Oregon, Arizona, Indiana, and Georgia. What are maybe the thoughts of some of the members in Nebraska, or your thoughts on how that election is going to go for the organization?
Sure. One of the things that I think that I really want to say is that, we've had contact with all 4 of the candidates as a Nebraska delegation, and I've had, of course, the opportunity to be around these gentlemen considerable over the last few years, and particularly during this time since President Stallman announced that he was going to retire. And I've never heard one of the candidates say anything negative about the other one, and so I think it might tell you something about the level of people, the high level of people that we have involved in this competition for president of American Farm Bureau. All very, very good people, and so I think that it's pretty much up in the air, and it's a lot of people have different scenarios that they try to play out, but I certainly can't say with any kind of certainty who the next president might be. I have my preference, but we will talk about that as a Nebraska delegation, and we will vote accordingly. And certainly, I know that there's a lot of people in American Farm Bureau, and probably that's the most things that you hear talked about are things related to the election as we move forward with this annual meeting.
For maybe some of the producers back at home, what is this going to mean to them electing a new president? How might that transition go? Are we going to see a big change?
Well, I don't think overall you'll see a huge change from the standpoint or the respect that our policy is set by the delegates of the organization, and that happens irregardless of who the president is, and so I don't think that we will see substantial change in that direction. Obviously, a new president has some influence over what happens or how those policies are implemented, but again, I don't think that you'll see striking change that way. Certainly, we want a president who sees the importance of every part of the country. Obviously, we would, everybody thinks about their own region as maybe being the most important, but President of the American Farm Bureau really needs to see the entire country and see that we're an organization that represents farmers and ranchers from all 50 states, and the president needs to be someone who also represents farmers and ranchers from all 50 states. And I think all of the candidates that we see will do that, but that probably is, would be the key thing that people look at. It'd be the key thing that people look at as to who might be the best at doing that.
We've been talking with Nebraska Farm Bureau President Steve Nelson as we are here in Orlando, Florida, covering the American Farm Bureau annual meeting. For the Rural Radio Network, I'm Jessie Harding.